if you haven't seen this, Jason Aldean, and if you don't know Jason Aldean is a country artist who was he was actually, what music festival was that? So he was on stage during the country music festival that was the host of the Las Vegas mass shooting a couple years ago, and he came out with a song, and honestly, the song is like the ultimate like fuck around and find out song, because if you haven't heard it, it's called Try That in a Small Town. And I wish I could play the music video, because basically the lyrics of it go through and say, actually, I think I have some of the lyrics here. Let me see. I thought I had the lyrics. I think my other thing had it. So basically, it's talking about, rioting, spitting in the face of cops, all that stuff. And it's a very small, it's going after the Antifa and BLM riots of 2020, and basically saying, like, if you try that in a small town, like, you're gonna find out, like, what happens. It's if you come for my guns, you're gonna find out what happens. Like I said, F around and find out. This got so much hate over the last week. Like, I can't believe like how much hate that's been going on around this. But, and to Jason Aldean's credit, like, he didn't stand down. He didn't fold under the controversy. He stepped up, and he doubled down on it. So good for him. He didn't bow to the woke mob. But again, this is outlaw country. Like, if you don't know that there is a genre of country music that is called outlaw country, and it's kind of this, in your face style music that Jason Aldean is kind of, he's playing. And so one of the people that came after him was this really far left, activist, who she basically, they were calling him racist, and all this advocating for lynching. She called it a violent song because he advocated, don't try that in a small town, recommends you don't try that in a small town, because there is a different value system there. Things just don't go by. Like, the stuff that we're seeing happening in cities, like, I was writing an article yesterday on Philadelphia, like one instance that happened in Philadelphia yesterday. When I dove into this story, I went to Google and I started to search more to see what was going on with this story. 4 or 5 other articles. I couldn't find another article about that specific story, but there was like 4 or 5 other articles about Philadelphia, somebody being shot in Philadelphia, within the last 3 days. And so, like, you see what's going on in these cities, and I think his statement is true. So, but what happened, CMT decided that they were going to pull it because it was controversial. Now, remember, this is the same CMT that pulled Garth Brooks' We Shall Be Free in the early 90s for expressing, different political views than what was, quote, it was considered. I mean, We Shall Be Free showed like the Berlin Wall falling. It showed a lot of different stuff. And it's a great song, but it would have been considered more progressive at the time. But it was considered and deemed to be, controversial. So they ended up pulling that back then. And so now they play all sorts of different stuff, but they pulled this song. And like I said, Jason Aldean, he stood up to it. So here's what he actually told his audience on Friday, the first time that he spoke since the it's CMT canceled the song. So
I love our country. I want to see it restored to what it once was before all this bullshit started happening to us. I love my country, I love my family, and I will do anything to protect that. I can tell you that right now. And here's what I want to say. A lot of things out there, and one thing I love, you guys know how it is this day and age, cancel culture is a thing. That's something that if people don't like what you say, they try and make sure that they can cancel you, which means try and ruin your life, ruin everything. One thing I saw this week was a bunch of country music fans that could see through a lot of the bullshit, all right? I saw country music fans rally like I've never seen before, and it was pretty badass to watch, I gotta say. Thank you guys so much. So I have people ask me, man, everything's going on with this song. Do you think you're gonna play it tonight? Do you think you're not gonna play it? And I said, people that come to my shows, you guys know what I'm about. You know what I stand for. I've never shied away from that at all. And I know a lot of you guys grew up like I did. You kind of have the same values, the same principles that I have, which is we want to take our kids to a movie and not worry about some asshole coming in there shooting up the theater, right? So when somebody asked me, hey man, you think you're gonna play this song tonight? The answer was simple. The people have spoken, and you guys spoke very, very loudly this week.
So yeah, so that's what he said. I mean, it's right on. When you look at what cancel culture is doing to the country, people just come after you. They want to ruin your lives. It doesn't matter, whether their claims have merit or not. I mean, I don't think there's a day that goes by on Twitter that people aren't, posting to my boss to get me fired simply because I'm trans and I'm open about it and I speak about it. But because of that, they are trying to get me fired and don't think that I should basically be able to have a job. Even though they would typically be on my side if I wasn't, trans. It's crazy. But so the lyrics of this song, I just looked it up real quick. Lyrics of the song say, sucker punch somebody on the sidewalk, carjack an old lady at a red light, pull a gun on the owner of a liquor store. Y'all think that's cool? Well, act a fool if you like. Cuss out a cop, spit in his face. And while this is playing in the video, it's showing the Antifa riots and everything like that. Stomp on the flag and light it up. Yeah, you think you're tough. We'll try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. Around here, we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I'd recommend you don't try that in a small town. And then it goes into some anti gun grabber government stuff. They say one day they're going to round up the guns and, well, it may fly in the city, but, good luck in a small town. It really is. Yeah, it really is, no F's left to give. I agree. That's right. But it was, again, it was crazy that they came after him. And I mean, his statement afterwards, it was like he said this, the left-wing activist that called it, racist and violent. He said, he called the accusations meritless and dangerous. There's not a single lyric in the song that references race or points to it. And there isn't a single clip in the video that isn't real news footage. And while I can try to respect others to have their own interpretations of a song with music, this one goes too far. The song refers to the feeling of community that I had growing up, where we took care of our neighbors regardless of the difference of background or belief, because they were our neighbors, and that was above any differences. My political views have never been something I've hidden from, and I know that a lot of us in this country don't agree on how we get back to the sense of normalcy, where we go at least day to day without a headline that keeps us up at night. But the desire for it, that's what the song is all about. And like I said, I think, was it the Route 65 or the Route 60? Which music? I can't remember what route it was. It was the music festival. Jason Aldean was on stage when the gunman opened fire. Like, we have to remember that. He knows this better than just about anybody. He was on stage, gunman starts open fire, he moves out. Some people have been like, well, his small town stuff didn't really happen there. But again, this is, what is he supposed to do? Yes, he ran and hid in security. What's he supposed to do? Somebody shooting out a window. I thought that I saw that argument on Twitter, and it just didn't make sense to me either. But I mean, he's got support. There's been a lot of support coming from him. Actually, it was, again, Friday night. So another country artist, Cody Johnson, put out a statement at his show in Cincinnati. So here's what he said.
We live in a time when everybody gets pissed off at Jason Aldean for putting out a song. If you're videoing this, Jason Aldean, if you're seeing this video, you keep it up, brother. You do you, brother. Being patriotic makes you an outlaw. Then by God, I'll be an outlaw. I'm going to play you an outlaw song. It goes like this. Here we go.
I like that. I think that was one of the best things that I heard in a while, that when he said, if being patriotic makes me an outlaw, then by God, I'll be an outlaw. I didn't actually see what happened with the U.S. soccer team. I know there was some controversy about the U.S. women's soccer team and the national anthem, but it seems like we do live in a time where people are so anti-U.S. And anything that's patriotic or anything like that, it gets condemned by groups of people. I think, I mean, I actually really like the song. Some people said that the courthouse that was in the video was like the place of a lynching or something like that, but apparently it also was shown in Hannah, Montana. So I don't know what that's all about. I don't think that ever was the intention, obviously, and honestly, what I saw a lot of was people conflating the words of this song. So basically, criminals that do these things, if you condemn these criminals, you then must be racist, which is a racist statement in and of itself, because just like when we talk about LGBT issues, right? So if we call somebody a groomer, they say that grooming, the term groomer, is an anti-LGBT trope. But who's really making the connections between the term groomer and LGBT? It's those on the left. So if it's an anti-LGBT trope, who is the real homophobe. It's the left, because they're the ones that are conflating the two. Same with this. If you conflate these crimes with race, with a certain race or any race, who's really the racist in all this? I'd say it's probably you.